the hardship I faced. I didn't really want to talk about this as of right now, but I feel like I needed to because I made some videos about do not ask for an easy life and ask for hard life, and I wanted to. I felt the obligation to tell you. You may understand why I'm saying this. So I would keep it rather short as for now. I will try to put it in a short format. But it all started. I'm not going to go when I was a kid, and because I was. It all started when I was 14. I mean, you can say kid, but whatever. It all started when I was 14. I just turned 14 in August, in the beginning of August. That's when everything started. So on August, when I turned 14, right, I decided to move to another country. So I moved to Sweden, and I didn't know. I mean, I knew something about Sweden, right? But I wasn't a part of society at that time. I just knew they're Vikings, they are, midsummer and everything, but not that much about how it actually really works. Their traditions, their how they live, their their people. And I moved when it was August, late August. So my beginning is in early August, and I moved there in late August, somewhere around that time. So I moved here with with no family, with no friends, with nobody, just by myself. And my yes, there was just some families accepted me, so I lived in a family. I live in a family, and very thankful and grateful to them, as for a fact. But I lost the fact that I lost my friends, my language, my culture, everything was a bit hurting at first. But as you know, when you come to new country and you're young, you have to go to school, right? So I started the Swedish school, the ninth grade, in somewhere in October or like November, somewhere at that time, like late autumn or early winter or something. And so I started the school. As I said, no friends, nothing. I just went to the school. I didn't understand the words they were saying, maybe a couple of them for the whole day. So imagine from 8 in the morning you wake up until like 4 you're in school. You don't understand what people saying. You're completely lost. You're sitting there, you don't even get what you're saying. It was like a mental torture on my mind. And the lessons they have in Swedish schools can last for 2 hours. Some, some are short, maybe 40 minutes. Some may last for 2 hours, and you may just sit there for 2 hours straight, listen to something you don't understand, listen to those voices, listen to. And it was like a ball of things I didn't understand. It was really, it was. I swear it was like a medieval age torture on my mind because your mind actually tries to make sense of whatever's going on, tries to solve the puzzle in your head, what they are saying. It was so draining. It was so painful. I swear it was like a. Imagine somebody puts you in a room. You don't understand the word a people saying. There's tons of people around you. You just sit there alone, and everything they say comes into your mind. It's like a torture. You don't understand what they're saying, and yeah, you might try. It's actually a very great torture for somebody to have. I would say, if somebody was put in alone in a room, and for example, 10 people around him, and they were just talking the language that he could understand. It would be a nice torture to our mom. I swear it would be a good one because there's something going on in mind that actually tries to solve it, and it's so draining. You can be tired of 2 hours just sitting in there. So for the whole day, I was tired. I couldn't know what should I do. When I got home, the same thing happened. I didn't understand the word, and at that time, I didn't want to have no friends because yeah, I was like I was I became so apathic and without willing to do something that I didn't know how it's going to be, and I live in a new family. I didn't know how they function. Of course, it's not their fault, but I of course it's not their fault. But what I'm saying is, I had to adapt to the family, to their everyday life, and it was something new to me, and it I was also concentrating on figuring out what was I doing because in my family we had of course a different setting, but here it is different, so I had to adapt, and it was also painful at first, but that's it. That doesn't really they they actually cared about me. They helped me like where I needed help, but you know it's not like your actual parents will care about you. That's what I mean. But I'm still very grateful to them and thankful. So the next is yeah, I had to adapt to the family. I had to adapt in school. I had to adapt in the society everywhere. I was muted. I couldn't talk. I couldn't speak. So that's probably the first hard part of my life that I had to face. And I actually went to that school a couple months ago, and somehow I really enjoyed being there because that time it broke me, but whatever. That's like the first part of this mental torture of not understanding the language and having to adapt. That's the first part. But the second is when you actually have no friends, you're alone, you just sit in your room, and there all the possible bad habits are coming into your life. As scrolling, cooning. At that time, I didn't play no video games, but scrolling, procrastinating, and cooning. It was probably the worst period of my life where I did it the most to try maybe to escape or something. And yeah, so I was just all day in my room doing that. Didn't really study that much because I didn't study that much. So with all the I had in addition all my bad habits, and you know how your dopamine levels are being fried by that. It made my situation even worse, especially with Gunen, and that was probably the the thing I did I regret the most. I would say scrolling too. I could scroll for 5 hours a day because I had nothing better to do. And those habits they implemented me, it was actually very hard to break them. So that's the second thing that I had to go through. Those bad habits addictions that I got into my life. And then I learned the language. I slowly started to understand. I slowly started to feel like I need to change something, that I need to feel great and better. And I stopped. I stopped scrolling around maybe age of 16, I was deleting TikTok. I was deleting everything just to stop doing that. At the age of 17, I went for around eight 8 months total from abstinence from you know cooning and all that. So it actually helped me a lot. I was really motivated to stop. That's why I did it for like 8 months. And it was hard battles to have. So that's like two bad habits that I implemented new. It's actually very hard to break because I could do it like maybe every day for 5 times a day. Even more if I'm being honest. But and then I started to when I was at the age of 14, I actually tried to make my own businesses, tried to make something out of me. And I was, from the age of 14, I was trying to make my own money. I made my own money at 16, I mean online. But then it eventually stopped because at that time I was editing weeds, making edits. And I was really trying to be better, to make money, to become somebody great. And I told them that I'm going to be great, and it just didn't go as I planned. My mind was so fried. I was seeking results in one session of doing something. So from the age of 14 to now, I to 19, I actually tried to become somebody. But those 4 past years, they were total failure. Well, it's even 5 years now. 14, 15, 16, 18. No, it's four. It's the beginning of fifth year. So I would say I was really trying to make something out of me, but I was failing. So this torture of failing also were coming to me because I was really trying. When you try a lot, you're already in hard situation. You try a lot. You try all of different things. I tried editing. That's what I started at first, and I tried copywriting. Then I tried drop shipping. Then I tried trading. Then I made my own YouTube channel, and I tried coding. Probably something more I tried. Yeah, I was trying to make AI books and sell them. I remember that for sure. I tried to make my own community. I tried to. What else have I tried? But that's what I remember as for now, what I've tried to do. Yeah, I also tried to be a translator, freelance translator. I remember that. But, you know, I tried a lot of things, and when you can't get hold of anything, it gets into your brain that you'll fail every time, and it's really hard. You fail already. You fail, you fail, and you fail. Till it gets into your mental environment. But I still kept going with this failure and with no friends, with nobody. Nobody really believed in me. Everybody said go to school, do this, do that, and so that was my life. Those 2 years, let's say 14, 15, 16, 3 years of trying failure, and at the age of 17, something else happened. So at the age of 17, my my closest to me person that actually I'd loved sincerely without forcing myself to say I love you or feeling that I had to say I love you was my dad, because my dad, when I was a kid, we were always training. He was teaching me all the stuff. I was training with him. I was training boxing, kickboxing if I'm being more accurate. He was training with me. all the time, and he was really close to me as a dad. And I hear then that he died of wherever, but he died, and he was actually the last person I would want to hear that he died, but he died, and I was here in this country all alone by myself, and I couldn't go back to my home country yet because it would be too late, and I couldn't even see his funeral. I couldn't even see him. I haven't seen him for past 3 years from the age of 14, and yeah, he was really close to me. Even though we didn't, when I was here, even so we didn't speak so much because when you son and then you do speak so much, but I really, I really liked him, And then he died, and I had this even more feeling of emptiness somehow. But I just knew that it's going to happen to everybody, and yeah, I just knew it's going to happen to everybody. But the amount that the not the amount, the things that I couldn't even see him and I didn't see him for like 3 years, really had some impact on me, and I'm not going to be able to see him no more. So it was in the spring, and yeah, so that's one more what I would say. And then actually, right now, as I was really trying hard to become somebody, to make a person of myself. I I'm a school dropout. I I got kicked out from school, and I have no papers. I have no education. I have nothing. So I just have to make myself great by myself, and we will see what's going to happen. I know that I'm going to put the hard work in. I got a new chapter, a new hard chapter in my life, I would say. Right now, I actually went to Greece. That's another story that actually made me even stronger. I had a lot of problems there, and I solved them, and it made me feel really comfortable with myself, really confident with myself. So I went to Greece, and on my way back, it was really it was a hell of a journey way back. I was really like on a war with getting here back to Sweden. It was like a punishment for something that I left Sweden. I feel like. So when I went to Greece, everything was fine up to that point. But when I actually decided to go back, I tried buying tickets. I bought tickets with my last money. There was no direct flight from Athens to Stockholm, so I had to buy to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt to go back to Stockholm. And I had my one letter name. That's where everything started. So I called them and I told them, what should I do? Should I change it? They said yes. I just didn't have one last letter because I feel like I erased it when I pressed enter on my phone. And I had no money to. The ticket was like probably 400, 300 and 350 euros or something, 320 euros or something. I bought it with my last money, and they say that you are going to have to rebuy the ticket with more expensive price for like 20 euros, and those money that they going to refund for my previous tickets are going to be in within 30 days they're going to come into my balance, right? But it's alright. I didn't have no money. They said you only have 15 minutes to buy a new ticket, and I was like, where the fuck should I get the money? I don't. It was in those 15 minutes I had the pressure of staying in a foreign country with the money I didn't have. With no money basically. But okay, I just called my friends. I figured it out. I bought it in the last minute, so everything was pretty fine. I had no money left. I was, but whatever. I went to the airport. There were still new problems. I couldn't check in my ticket. I was doing everything last minute. It was like I had to really fight for my life there too. I really had to fight for them to solve my problems. And then when I got to Frankfurt, I haven't slept. I haven't eaten because I had no basically no money to pay for the food, and I missed my flight to Stockholm. And then I was alone in the Frankfurt with no money, already in debt. So I I just accepted being sleeping there. So I slept there in the airport completely alone. I had my skateboard deck somewhere there, and I lost it there. It was really close to me, but wherever. And yeah, but somehow the tickets to buy tickets again to from Frankfurt to Stockholm, they cost like again 300 euros, which I didn't have. I was already in debt, and I needed more money to go back to Frankfurt. But wherever, I figured out that I can go with bus from Frankfurt to Stockholm. I did it, and I called one more friend. He said yes, fine, take the money. It wasn't that much, maybe 100 euros to buy for the buses to go to Stockholm. I did it, and yeah, it was really. I told it in a short form, but it was really some hell on earth that time because I was really the pressure I was getting of everything, and I didn't sleep. I haven't eaten, and I was waiting in the night in the rain. It really made me stronger because I had to actually fight for myself and figure everything by myself. I went on a ferry. Just no, nobody told me when to come, and it was just I had really to figure out everything by myself. So it really made me more confident in some sense. So now we're going to find not to find but to find new battles with my failure for years and me being kicked out from the school. I mean from high school. So we gotta figure it out everything by myself, and also new hardship. I know what's going to happen, the home and everything, but I know that I'm going to win anyway. So it was those hardships that I faced up till now. They always come in new hardship. Always. Everything is happening at some point. Something new is added on every time. So right now I have to figure out where should I sleep and how should I get the money basically. So I would really appreciate if you listen to this story. Maybe I'll talk about this more in a more structured way because I feel like I haven't said everything. I was just saying some just vague points, but it was therefore like it was really a short format that I had. It's really I put it as short as I could. So I turned 19 and already I feel like I already faced more than most of people in terms of failure, in terms of losing everything, in terms of my spirit, and in terms of death. Yeah, actually, I don't want to talk about this because this sounds weak, but whatever. Maybe I will do it once. And yeah, but this is for the main story. So right now we actually gotta work hard and figure out what we should do with school and everything, because it's really going to be hard, I know it, and I'm going to win anyways. If you, maybe somebody watched up to this point, I would be really, I can really make some other wits on that point, and yeah, I'm actually really glad that it happened to me. But right now I've got new type of hardship, a new type of challenge that I need to face, and I'm ready. So stay tuned. I'm going to be sharing what I do, and maybe it's going to be an inspiration, or maybe it's going to be like a help book to you, help book to you, and whatever. If you want to contact me, if you want to text me, and you know, just say what have you went through. I'm going to understand, because I know I went through some stuff myself. And you can text me on IG, you can text me on Telegram, you can text me everywhere basically. Join my channel on Telegram, or DM me on IG. Just tell me how it is. I would be really, it would be interesting to listen what other people have went through. So I really appreciate for everybody who stayed up to this point, and I wish you all to solve everything that you have.